Let's talk about this even further, get some legal commentary about this as the deal has now closed. Andrew Tchaikovsky, who has really walked our viewers throughout the duration of this months-long saga. It is now over. Andrew, we got the word last night that the deal has now closed, so they avoided this trial in Delaware Chancery Court. And, of course, now we know that he's fired some of these top executives. So he's really, making this into his old image, his own mold, and he's not going to stop anytime soon, is he?
No, and I think the image of him walking into the lobby with the sink was really kind of cute on his part, saying that he's going to, he said, let it sink in, I think was his quote there, because I don't think that the odds were in favor of this. We've been tracking this, like you said, for months now, looking at the legal hurdles that he had to go through and that he put Twitter through as time went by. I think ultimately the really interesting thing was that based on his offer, he didn't have a lot of ways out from a legal perspective. He definitely had to run the risk of being forced to buy Twitter, and I don't think he wanted that. So in the end, he ponied up the cash, was able to get the financing from a whole bunch of different sources, and now the company is his. And now we wait to see what sort of moves he is going to make to change the company. Lots of legal stories to come on that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I can't help but think of Parag Agrawal's role in all of this, the ousted CEO of Twitter, who basically, I guess, for the shareholders, got this deal across the finish line, and then the moment the ink was penned on the contract, he was out of the office. Many are saying that he's the bagman in this situation, but of course, it's up to Musk's discretion. He now owns the company. The company is private. He can put in charge whoever he wants.
Well, Musk bought the company because he didn't like what it was doing. He didn't like the nature of the limitations on free speech and the what I think is a fair criticism of what ended up being relatively politicized moderation of the debate that occurred on Twitter. We'd have all sorts of tweets on one side of the aisle coming from the left that would be what many would see as hate-filled, or that would be discriminatory in some respects, especially towards people with conservative views. And meanwhile, conservatives who put forth their message and who spouted their ideology and questions that they were raising would be removed from the platform quite quickly. So Musk went into this noting that he didn't like the culture. So it's no surprise that the CEO and top executives have been let go. He's trying to rethink the whole thing. I think that's the point of the purchase in the first place. And really the only thing that I think can bring Twitter out of the gutter, so to speak, or the criticism that it has had in lately, that it may be failing.
Yeah, I want to put up this tweet Musk put on his account today. He said, Twitter will be forming a content moderation council with widely diverse viewpoints. No major content decisions or account reinstatements will happen before that council convenes. Now, I don't know. I saw some accounts that had been previously banned kind of resurface last night after news of this happened. Of course, the big one, obviously, everyone's talking about is former President Trump. Former President Trump posted on Truth Social just today. He says, Truth Social has become somewhat of a phenomenon. Last week, it had bigger numbers than all other platforms, including TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and the rest. It also looks and works better to my eye. I'm very happy that Twitter is now in sane hands and will no longer be run by radical left lunatics and maniacs that truly hate our country. He goes on to say, Twitter must now work hard to rid itself of all the bots and fake accounts that have hurt it so badly. It will be much smaller but better. I love truth. So now he's competing outright with Twitter. I mean, he always has been, but there was obviously always this open prospect that he could be allowed back on Twitter, and then everyone would think, well, what happens to his own platform, Truth Social?
Donald Trump doesn't give compliments like that very often. So to the extent that they are in some degree of conflict here between Truth Social and Twitter, at least Donald Trump is giving Elon Musk some degree of respect, saying that he's bringing sanity back. You know, ultimately, Andrew, I think that the difficult thing for anybody who runs a company like this with an open public platform is where they draw the line. Even in America, where we have the freedom of speech, there are limitations to speech in some regards. And those regards tend to be where the speech is directly inciting of violence. Now, how they do that in a company where they don't have a courtroom to take it to, where there aren't specific laws that are enforceable through the courts and appellate courts, that's a very difficult thing for them to do. So he's proposing that he's going to create a council that has these divergent views, and I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think the really important thing is to eliminate the perception that Twitter is kind of party affiliated, or that it has a preference in terms of the ideology that is put forth on the platform, and non-discriminatory in how it approaches the types of speech that has to be moderated to some degree for the safety of the community and those who use it. And when I say moderated to some degree, I hope it is very limited in nature.
Yeah, I think that statement today took a lot of people by surprise. I think some had thought that now Twitter is going to be the wild, wild west, although some would argue it right now is that. And so he's talking about moderation. He's talking about the content already, not even 24 hours after he took over control. Do you think, just last question, Andrew, do you think he's going to be in charge for the long haul, or is he going to install someone that he wants to run day-to-day operations soon, maybe?
Elon Musk has a lot to do. So with all that he has on his plate, I'm sure that he is going to be looking for top-level executives to take the reign from a day-to-day basis. Now, Elon Musk is deeply involved in all of the companies that he is an owner of, or that he has a large influence over. So I expect him to be heavily involved. I expect him to take the reins on big issues. But of course, any good manager, any good CEO is going to have a tremendous team beneath them carrying out the mission that he sets forward. So it's getting the right people in place that he trusts to push forward his visions.
Yeah. And just last point, I just thought of this. The share price was the same from way back when they first proposed this. $54.20 a share, comes out, what, $44 billion. So it didn't go up, it didn't go down. It was that same one they had initially suggested. Andrew Chakosky, thanks for walking us through this months-long story, and we'll see where it goes from here, Andrew.
Great to see you. Thank you.